Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the Council of Ministers meeting at Al Baraka Palace and directs the establishment of an investment fund called Oman Future Fund with a capital of 2 billion Omani riyals. The Council of Ministers approves increasing the financial allocations for the Housing Assistance Program by around 26.5 million Omani riyals and exempts small and medium enterprises from some of the fees determined by the Tender Board. His Majesty the Sultan directs the continuance application of a 15% reduction on the total bill value during summer months for all subscribers in the residential category who have 2 accounts or less. And His Majesty the Sultan presides over the inauguration ceremony of Sultan Haytham City at Al Baraka Palace. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the Council of Ministers meeting at Al Baraka Palace today. His Majesty began the meeting by praising and thanking the Almighty for His blessings and for bestowing Oman with His grace, security, stability and progress. He prayed to Allah to continue to bless this beloved country with these blessings and to grant everyone good health and well-being. His Majesty then reviewed the local, regional and international situations as part of the ongoing government initiatives to achieve a rapid economic growth and complete the financing and investment coverage system. His Majesty the Sultan directed the launch of an investment fund called Oman Future Fund with a capital of 2 billion Omani riyals to enhance economic activity and encourage the private sector to enter into partnerships or finance viable investment projects in the economic diversification sectors targeted by Oman Vision 2040. His Majesty also directed the allocation of a proportion of the fund's capital to stimulate the bold investment system in small, medium and startup companies registered in the Small Medium Enterprises Development Authority. In light of the launch of the Sultan Haytham City project in the Wilaya of Asib, His Majesty emphasized that the launch of this project is part of the trend towards building modern cities with global planning standards equipped with the integrated and interconnected facilities and providing all the services that meet the needs of residents and promote family stability. The establishment of the city presents a model for sustainable city building development. In order to promote and manage the health umbrella using modern methods, the Council of Ministers approved the establishment of a National Center for Women and Child Health in the Sultan Haytham City, which will be dedicated to providing them with healthcare services and in line with the highest global standards. The center will serve as a scientific, research and treatment reference point in the Sultanate of Oman. Continuing His Majesty's interest in developing and qualifying national competencies, the Council of Ministers approved the enhancement of external scholarship program for the year 2023-2027 by introducing a program that aims to prepare graduates capable of playing leadership roles in various economic sectors. This will be achieved by sending them to study specialized and future-oriented disciplines in the best global universities with a total of 150 scholarships over 5 years starting from this year at a total cost of 36 million Omani riyals. In order to encourage private higher education institutions to play their role in enriching the academic educational progress, the Council of Ministers approved the allocation of lands to a number of private higher education institutions that meet the conditions and regulations in this regard, and exempted them from the fees associated with it. In order to alleviate the expected effects on all citizens, especially those with limited income from the increase in electricity consumption bills during the summer, His Majesty directed that the continuance application of a 15% reduction on the total bill value for all subscribers in the residential category who have 2 accounts or less. This will be applied during the summer months from May to the end of August 2023. In the same context, and in light of monitoring the conditions of citizens in some villages and the governorates to ensure the provision of housing units close to public services, the Council of Ministers approved an increase in the financial allocations for the Housing Assistance Programme at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning by an amount of 26,400,000 Omani Riyals for the remaining years of the 10th five-year plan. This will be used to build housing units for some remote villages, residents, or to relocate them from affected areas to safe places and to provide some public services or establish service projects in these areas. In light of the importance placed by the Council of Ministers on achieving food security in the country and maintaining a strategic stock of essential commodities, and after praising the efforts made by the relevant authorities in cooperation with farmers in various governorates to cultivate improved Omani wheat varieties through a wheat purchasing support program aimed at encouraging them to expand their cultivation, the Council approved to plan and support local wheat production with a proximity of 5 million Omani Riyals until 2027 and allocated lands for its cultivation in some governorates. Furthermore, in conjunction with the Far Kharif season and with the aim of operating more direct flights to and from Salalah Airport to competitive prices, His Majesty directed the relevant authorities to provide direct support for fuel prices at Salalah Airport equivalent to the fuel prices at Muscat International Airport. After reviewing the executive status of the initiatives related to employment, the National Employment Programme and the efforts made by the relevant authorities to improve economic growth and develop various economic sectors, the Council directed to intensify those efforts. His Majesty also directed the extension of job security benefits for citizens whose services have been terminated by the private sector until the end of December 2023. As part of the continued support provided to the small and medium-sized enterprises sector, which is considered a fundamental pillar in the national economy and expected to play a pivotal role in contributing the gross domestic product and employing the national workforce, the Council of Ministers approved exempting SMEs from some of the fees determined by the Tender Board. Regarding regional and international matters, His Majesty the Sultan reviewed the bilateral relations between the Sultanate of Oman and a number of sisterly and friendly countries, affirming the Sultanate's constant approach of positive neutrality and its persistent efforts to achieve security and stability in the region and to build bridges of cooperation with all countries. At the end of the meeting, His Majesty the Sultan addressed a number of aspects and concerns that the nation and its citizens, wishing everyone success and prosperity for the good of this beloved country and its loyal people. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presided this morning over the inauguration ceremony of Sultan Haytham City at Al Baraka Palace. Upon his arrival at the inauguration hall, His Majesty the Sultan was received by His Excellency Dr. Khalfan bin Saeed Al Shuaili, Minister of Housing and Urban Planning. After that, His Majesty was briefed on the details of this upcoming smart city, which will be built in the Wilaya of Sib. The city will be a new model for building sustainable cities and will stimulate modern and the aspirations of youth in the Sultanate of Oman. After that, His Majesty the Sultan got acquainted with the characteristics of a Sultan Haytham city through digital panels showcasing the city's various and multi-use housing options within a modern environment that stimulates the cultural heritage and adopts sustainable lifestyles with a wonderful architectural vision that includes all members of the society of all categories and allows them to have easy access to all its social and recreational facilities and make them feel belonging and empowered. The city focuses on 12 international standards of quality of life and luxury of living, starting from the appropriate cost and integrated advanced facilities to the modern lifestyle. After that, His Majesty the Sultan was briefed on the identity of the Sultan Haytham city and its mission, the legacy of a future which reflects the idea of building a most unique and dazzling city in the Sultanate of Oman. Then His Majesty watched a visual presentation on the model of master plan for Sultan Haytham city, its features, the integration of its neighborhoods and its comprehensive facilities. The visual presentation also presented detailed figures on the city's various edifices, numbers of schools, hospitals, mosques, etc., and expected planned and the implementation stages of the city's project, which go beyond the usual concepts of urban life and contain a civilized society. At the end of the inauguration ceremony of Sultan Haytham city, His Majesty reviewed a book describing the city project, which will be an icon of smart cities in the Sultanate of Oman. Along with His Majesty, a number of their Highnesses and Excellencies, as well as a number of officials attended the inauguration. It is worth noting that Sultan Haytham city project was planned on an area of approximately 15 million square meters with sustainable urban engineering that focuses on the exploitation of green spaces estimated at 2,900,000 square meters and include 100,000 people at a rate of 20,000 various housing units.
إن عمل الفريق هو دائما ناجح. إن شاء الله في هذا البلد دائما نعمل كفريق في كل المجالات، وأنا ما أشوفه اليوم هو الحقيقة يعني يثلج الصدر، وإن شاء الله هذه تكون بادرة لمخططات لاحقة إن شاء الله. هنيئا بأبنائنا الشباب المصممين المفكرين، وأتمنى أن تكون لهم بصمات غير عن هذه المدينة في كل بقعة من هذه المدينة. إنسان قادر على التغلب على كل التحديات، وهذه بداية كما قلنا، وإن شاء الله في مدن أخرى إن شاء الله ستأتي. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله. وخلوكم بس دائما عندكم الجديد.
The architectural design of a Sultan Haytham city considers requirement of sustainable smart cities and keeps pace with the demands of modern life. More details in the following report.
Sultan Haytham City is a project that combines the elements of modern and innovative life in the Sultanate of Oman and reflects the values and antiquities by reviving the ancient heritage, forming a solid base for a future society that combines all generations and lifestyles. The city will be set up in a strategic location in the Wilaya of Sib in Muscat Governorate on an area of approximately 15 million square meters to include 20,000 housing units, which provide a range of housing options and unprecedented levels of privacy to bestow luxury upon its residents. These units will be built in 19 integrated neighborhoods that can accommodate 100,000 people and take into account the sustainability of the environment by using renewable energy, water conservation measures, and building standards. The green spaces in the outer areas of the buildings of this city, which depend on the natural shade of trees during the day, occupy about 2.9 million square meters. This project will include schools, health services, including a referral hospital, commercial facilities, a university, sports facilities, a boulevard, a central park, and will be equipped with pedestrian and bicycle paths and an internal network for transportations. The city is sustainable and designed to raise the quality of life by relying on the use of solar energy as a sustainable source, including systems for energy production from waste, wastewater treatment, and application of a sustainability system to protect resources, reduce waste quantities, and reuse and recycle materials. Sultan Haytham City is a city that goes beyond the usual concept of urban life, starting from the appropriate cost that's in line with all levels of income and integrated facilities that respond to climatic changes, up to the modern lifestyle and sustainable systems representing a civilized society.
Duqm refinery in the special economic zone at Duqm will start commercial operations in the last quarter of this year, with the completion of more than 98% of the construction works of the project. More details in the following report.
The Duqm refinery in the Duqm special economic zone is set to begin commercial operations in the fourth quarter of this year, with over 98% of the project construction work completed. The refinery has surpassed 65% of its trial operations, with ongoing checks of readiness, including security and safety procedures, mechanical and electrical systems, and the continued development of the national workforce who will manage the project. The Duqm Refinery and Petrochemical Industries project consists of 3 packages, with the first package involving the main processing units of the refinery. The second package includes facilities and services that support operational processes, while the third package includes facilities for the storage and export of liquid and bulk petroleum products in the port of Duqm, as well as crude oil storage facilities in Ras Markaz.
The special economic zone at Al Duqm is witnessing a rapid growth in electricity demand. More details in the following report.
With a growth rate of 27% in the past year compared to 2021, the Duqm Special Economic Zone has experienced an increase in demand for electricity services, with the number of subscribers approaching 7,000. Electricity service connections have increased by around 100% over the past 3 years, indicating sustained growth and rapid investment activity in the Duqm Special Economic Zone, thanks to the efforts of the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones and the companies operating in the sector. One of the major electricity projects currently being implemented in the Duqm Special Economic Zone is the connection of the current network in the area to the national main network with a voltage of 400 kilovolts. The connection is scheduled to be operational this year, which will provide stability and balance to the electrical system, provide coverage in emergency situations, and reduce the costs of electricity production. The Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones has developed a mechanism for flexible electricity connections to beneficiaries, where the service provider is committed to connecting the service without additional cost to the beneficiary by canceling the distance clause and raising the electricity capacity from 2,500 kilowatts to 6,000 kilowatts. This is in line with the authority's policy for providing public services in the region.
The opening of the monument of the Chinese navigator Zhang Yi was celebrated in the Wilaya of Salalah in the Dhofar Governorate, which coincided with the celebration of the Sultanate of Oman and the People's Republic of China for the 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The ceremony includes a visual presentation on the design of the monument in addition to the deep history of Omani-Chinese relations. The Chinese Navigator Monument was built on the waterfront of the Al-Hafa area using 3D printing technology. The monument artistic design stimulates the waves of the sea and the bow of the ship, indicating the historical mutual voyages between the two friendly countries. Still to come in our news bulletin. The Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs organizes Nusuk exhibition in the Wilaya of Ja'alan Bani Buhassan. Welcome back to the Sultanate of Oman television. The Special Economic Zone of Al Dukum continues implementing 7 infrastructure projects related to the road sector, 5 of which are currently under implementation, including the first and second phases of the duplication of the National Road 32 and the duplication of Sultan Saeed bin Taimur Road, the construction of the internal road network in the commercial area, and the 51 kilometers long road connecting Al Dukum Airport to Ras Markaz. 2 other projects are yet to be awarded, which are the implementation of the road networks in the light and medium industries area and the development of the coastal road. The road projects in the Special Economic Zone of Al Dukum will develop land transport services and will link the region to the vital and tourism services and projects which will enhance the economic movement of the region. The delegation of the Sultanate of Oman, headed by His Excellency Mohsin bin Hamid Al Hadrami, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Energy and Minerals, arrived in the People's Republic of China after the end of his working visit to the Republic of South Korea. This tour aims to enhance the efforts of the Sultanate of Oman under the supervision of the Ministry of Energy and Minerals to invest in renewable energy, green hydrogen, oil, gas and minerals through a number of meetings and discussions of available opportunities with government officials and senior representatives of companies in order to enhance partnerships and cooperation opportunities in these countries, which will be concluded later in the Kingdom of Malaysia. The Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs, represented by its directorate in South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate, organized Nusk exhibition in the Wilaya of Ja'alan Bani Buhassan. The exhibition contains several sections, demonstrations, and the various rituals of Hajj. More details in the following report.
As part of Hajj season preparations of the year 1444 Hijri, the Directorate of Endowments and Religious Affairs in South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate organized ritual or nusuk exhibition that contains several sections demonstrating the various steps of Hajj.
The Ministry of Endowment and Religious Affairs has always been at the forefront of delivering the best services to Omanis who had the privilege to go to Hajj. This year we have launched a digital platform where everyone can learn about Hajj, about the details, about every single step. There are questions and answers that are currently available on the platform, as well as questions that might arise, but they are not currently in the platform. People could still write their questions and receive the answers very shortly.
Along with the Nusuk exhibition, the Directorate of Endowments and Religious Affairs in South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate launched the interactive platform that includes all Umrah and Hajj practices in a very interactive way, and it is considered as a good source for all pilgrims across the Sultanate of Oman. Nusuk exhibition provides a variety of inductive services in South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate such as cultural competitions, visual presentations, and educational lectures related to Hajj practices. Sultan bin Saif Sara'i from South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate, Wilaya of Ja'lan, Bani Bu Hassan.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the Council of Ministers meeting at Al Baraka Palace and directs the establishment of an investment fund called Oman Future Fund with a capital of 2 billion Omani riyals. The Council of Ministers approves increasing the financial allocations for Housing Assistance Program by around 26.5 million Omani riyals and exempts small and medium enterprises from some of the fees determined by the Tender Board. His Majesty of a 15% reduction on the total bill value during summer months for all subscribers in the residential category who have 2 accounts or less. And His Majesty the Sultan presides over the inauguration ceremony of Sultan Haytham City at Al Baraka Palace. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.